Hi, I want to talk a little bit about the First in Showcase. I've just corrected all your papers. You should be able to see my results or my comments and your grade. Kind of a wide range of results here, but that's pretty common on the first case study because many of you have never done a case study before or have never done one that asks you to really dig in and take over the decision making. And that's what we're doing in this class. So don't despair. There aren't a whole lot of points attached to this. 80 points, so 8% of your overall grade. So it's not a life killer if you didn't do well. And hopefully you'll learn from this, and in the next case you'll take what you learned and do a lot more rigorous or better job in the future. I graded these. You may not be happy with your grade, or maybe you are, but I graded these pretty leniently. I will not be as lenient on the next case. So you not only do you have to improve your grade by doing a better job, but your grader is going to get more rigorous. So I expect that you'll all do fine. I don't see any problems. I think you'll all do fine, but you just have to realize this is not just summarizing a case or taking what's there and assuming that it's correct, or assuming that people know what they're doing. They generally don't in the real world. So your job is to make decisions. You're stepping into the executive committee position in this case, and you have to step in and make decisions. So you have to use all the data there. You can't just you've paid for all this data. Marketing Momentum not only is proposing a marketing plan, but they've also provided you with data that looks pretty solid. They've vetted the data, and that's really what you paid for, was the data. Use it. Don't just gloss over it. Use it. Figure out what it's telling you. Figure out how much of it is relevant and how much isn't. And look at where the data or the information is coming from. The idea for doing this retail product came from food brokers. And they sell to supermarkets. So guess what? They think that supermarkets are the best place to go. Is that somewhat biased information? I think so. They're biased because that's their world. They know the supermarket world. That's who they sell to. That's how they make their money. So take that with a grain of salt. Take this food broker's ideas with a grain of salt. Biljack. Is it really a similar product to our product? It's sold in bulk packages of 5 pounds. It's sold quite inexpensively. Who's the buyer there? Is it the buyer we're looking for? Is it the segment of the market we're looking for? Or is it some other segment? Yeah, it's frozen meat. Okay. We're selling frozen meat. But we're talking about a very different marketing product. Other than that the core components are the same, the product is quite different. So you got to think about that. I'm going to go through some of the data and show you how to analyze it today. And in almost any case, you're going to have this kind of information. Use it. Use the information. Understand it, dig into it, and decide what it's telling you. That's the define the problem. What's my problem? Is my problem whether to spend $500,000 or $700,000? Or is my problem how to launch this product, and what do I need to know to launch the product? I got a lot of the information there. Let's analyze it. Okay, so we're going to look at some of the numbers here. And I've prepared a spreadsheet, and I'm going to post this spreadsheet so you can play with it. And I've just chosen 4 of the products. So I chose Newman's Own, which was organic. I chose Biljack, which was frozen. I chose Caesar Select, which was premium canned. And I chose IAMS, which was premium dry. There's a whole bunch of others. I could have done them all. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not trying to give you an answer. I'm just giving you an example. So I've got the retail prices for those products. I know what the contents of those products are, so I can figure out a common size, which is going to be, I used ounce. You could use something else if you wanted to, but Newman's Own has 12.7 ounces, so the retail price per ounce is just under 20 cents, 19 cents. Biljack is just over 6 cents. Caesar Select is 25 cents. And IAMS dry fruit is 9 cents. So we've got 4 prices per ounce. I'm then going to convert these to, since we're selling our product in a 15-ounce package, single serving package, how do I convert this? Well, Newman's Own would convert it to our product, which is slightly larger. They've got 12 and 27 ounces. We have 15, so 15 times 19. There's your formula up there. I get $2.94. Biljack comes in at 99 cents a package. Caesar Select on a per ounce basis comes in at $3.81. They're really small cans. And IAMS is $1.35 per 15 ounce product. So I'm going to round those just so I have round numbers. $2.99 up from $2.94, 99 cents, $3.85, and $1.39. And then I go into how much am I going to get of that $2.99. That's what the consumer's paying. And that's really where I want to start with any marketing plan. What's the consumer willing to pay? What's the value to the consumer? And I'm not saying we have to sell it at any of these prices, but this is a place to start because this is what the market looks like. Can I sell my product for more than Newman's Own? Maybe. Do I need to sell it for less than Newman's Own? Maybe. Depends on what your segmentation and target marketing is. Who am I targeting? Obviously, Caesar Select is targeting a very high end of the market, and Biljack seems to be targeting a very low end of the market. So kind of different things. So $2.99, $99, $3.85. What am I going to get? Well, the grocer is going to sell it for $2.99. They want to pay 78% less than that to accommodate their 22% margin. So they want to pay $2.33 for it. And then the broker is going to take 7% of what the grocer pays. So 7% of $2.33 is $2.16. That's what I'm going to get. And the variable cost for me is the $7.87 divided by 15 ounce times 12 times 15. The variable cost per 15 ounces is 66 cents. So contribution margin, if I sell it for $2.16 to the after paying commissions and grocer's margin, I'm going to have a contribution margin per tub of $1.51, which is a 70% margin on the sales price. Biljack, if I sell it at their price, I'm going to have an 8.6% margin on sales price. Caesar Select 76% and IAM's 35%. So, okay, that's margin. What do I do with margin? Well, I want to figure out how much I have to sell to cover my costs. And we know what our costs are. They're $500, $530, $700, and $730 in this particular case, but they may vary depending on what I decide to do. This is what MMU is proposing, but that doesn't mean this is what I'm going to do. But I use their numbers. So I use 530 divided by the $1.51. My break-even units, if I sell it at a price similar to Newman's Own, is 350,000 units, which would translate into $760,000 in sales. The Boston canned food market in total in supermarkets is 6,480,000. That's given to you in the case. 15% of the total Boston market. That's 15%. Plus 36% of the total. I don't know if I have that formula there. I didn't. I just dropped the number in, but that's what that is. We calculated that. And the market share needed to break even. Therefore, I have to get 12% of the market to break even. If I just go to the overall canned food market in specialty stores, not supermarket stores, I have to get 13% of the market there. And I could go on to other potential markets. At $730,000 in cost, obviously I have to sell more. So I have to get 16% of the market. Is it reasonable to expect that I would get 12% of the Boston canned food supermarket sales in the first year with a brand new product? competing against, as they tell you, people with large consumer acceptance, strong brand names, and all that sort of thing. I don't know. 12% is a lot. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it's that good a product. If I price it similar to Caesar Select at a higher price, I obviously can get away with a slightly smaller market share. And if I price it similar to Bill Jacks, I'm going to have to get 95% of the market. I'm going to have to sell as much as all the other canned foods combined. Is that reasonable to expect? I don't think so. This is a new product launch. I'm gonna take over the market and take over essentially the entire canned food market in 1 year. I think that's where we come to smell tests. Does it make sense to project a product that will take 95, we'll need to get 95% of the market in order to just break even, just cover the marketing costs? Doesn't smell right to me. Maybe I can get 10% of the market. That's a real stretch. But 95% I don't think is possible, and it's certainly not possible to get 107% if we think that our target market is those who buy canned dog food. So, I've then broken it into other things in terms of market share for the overall market, market share for the canned and dried food market, all of that stuff. So I've broken it down into a whole bunch of things. More important, the next slide shows me an interactive break-even. If I sell it for $2.99 a tub, $35.99 a case, I have now got an interactive spreadsheet here, which tells me what I have to do to break even at 730, but I can change it to 530. I could have all of the different breakdowns of the markets here, of the specialty markets and the pet food markets and the Walmart markets and all of those different markets. And I could even have the different types of food, the overall market, and so forth. Here I've used the total market, the supermarket market, the canned supermarket, and the Walmart dog total market at Walmart. So, and I can change my price. I can make my price $40 a case. $3.33, close to Caesar Select. And obviously my need for the market, I can go smaller. So now all of a sudden I have an interactive product price that's going to give me some idea of what price might work for me. Percentages, 15% return on sales. Doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? I need way more than a 15% gross margin to sell anything outside of my, as a manufacturer. I have to have more than 15% gross margin. So maybe they're talking about 15% net, or I don't know what they're talking about. But I can figure out what works. I can look at my retail price. I can decide what retail price would work. Or I can decide, hey, this doesn't work at all. I mean, some of you suggested a price in the teens, let's say $15 a case, $1.25 a tub. I have to get 32% of the canned food dog market in supermarkets to make that break even at a $500,000 marketing expenditure. Is that reasonable? Can I get that? So that's kind of what I'm asking you to do. Put yourself in the decision maker's shoes and think about that. A lot of you had some quite good ideas about various marketing. Some people talked about having separate freezers as end caps in supermarkets. A lot of you talked about going to other specialty markets because this was a specialty product. Maybe you'd be better off in pet superstores or grain stores or vet offices. But in order to be in those places, you might need to have the freezer as part of the package. Marketers have done that for a long time. I mean, you look at some of the fancy fruit juices and stuff that have their own coolers in the supermarkets, Oddwall or Nantucket Nectars or those kinds of things. Lots of creative stuff. I saw a lot of good creative stuff. I saw a lot of critiques of the actual marketing that MMU was proposing. Remember, you got to put yourself in the time that this is being done. It's not today. It was 2009. So what you see as normal marketing in 2020, social media, that sort of thing, online buying, 6% of dog food is bought online in 2009. It might be 16 or 20% now, but at that point in time it was 6%. So that was a small percentage of the overall market. So you can't project today's things onto 2009. So you got to put yourself in the time and place. I haven't decided what cases to use going forward, but there's one case that I really like because it really talks about distribution choices and channel distribution choices. And it's set in 1960. You weren't alive then. But the principles are the same. What do I do for channels of distribution? The channels that were available in 1960 are not the channels that are available today, but it's the same process. It's actually a good case. I'm not sure if I'll use it. But, so think about that. Put yourself in the shoes of the people that are making the decision and figure out what you're going to do to make the decision. It's great to be creative on the communication side, the promotion and communication side, but you got to think about channels, you got to think about price, and you have to think about product as well as communication. So don't just focus on the communication stuff. Okay, that sort of wraps it up. I will post the slides and enjoy your break. I will get your tests corrected as soon as I can, and we'll get back together after break. Thank you.